You are now entering Night Storm Nation.
All I have to say is this.
Child abuse.
If you are one of those people
Divorce.
that have been put down all of your life,
Infidelity.
beat up and trapped in a pit of woe,
Depression.
it is time for you to stand up with the Night Storm Nation, because we aren't going anywhere. I'm YG Nightstorm, the man not afraid to be transparent, as I help real people with real issues. And my co-host is my queen, my stunningly gorgeous wife.
Good morning, everyone. This is Toby George Nightstorm, the woman not afraid to tell the truth about things as they really are. And this is Nightstorm Radio, radio gone real. Why? Because we are you.
Now, Nightstorm Nation, if you're in the ATL, call in at 404-355-8699. And to the Nightstorm Nation around the country, 1-866-923-2860 on Love 860 AM. So, baby, what's on tap today?
I think we got like 3 guesses. What's your first one?
I think who run the world?
We're going to be talking about the uphill battle that millions of women are fighting in order to achieve success. But the first order of business is our contest that we're currently running. Mm-hmm. Now, Night Storm members of Night Storm Nation, as we announced last week, we're going to be giving away the opportunity for 2 business owners to have 5 minutes each to discuss and promote their business on the air during our February 13th show. So we're showing you some love just in time for Valentine's Day. All you have to do is go to nightstorm.com, that's NYGHTSTORM, and join our mailing list, which officially makes you a member of Night Storm Nation, and enter for your chance to win.
Yeah, okay, now that we got that business out the way, we finna get into this, and we occasionally get letters from Nightstorm Nation members from across the country, and some of these letters can say anything, but since the focus of today's show is why girls run the world, of course we got some pushback, okay? And I just gotta read this letter now. Sweetheart, I just want you to hold your horses.
I've already read this letter, and I just walked away and let you keep on doing what you're doing.
Okay, well, Nightstorm Nation, this is the letter. And it starts off like this. Dear Nightstorms, I'm not sexist, but I feel that the rise of women in the workplace has ruined America. Being a part of the greatest generation, I have seen this country change for the worse since World War II. I remember my father coming home from the war being greeted by me, my sister, and mother. Nothing makes a man feel more empowered than seeing his wife in the kitchen baking homemade bread and bringing him his slippers with a hot cup of tea. Toby is quiet. I honestly remember seeing a woman with pants on for the first time, and that's when I knew we were headed in the wrong direction. I understand why colored folks needed their equality in the 60s, but women have always had it easy. All they had to do was raise children and keep the house clean. I may be old-fashioned, but I don't see anything wrong with that. Yes.
Now, the tea and the slippers, I've done that for you, especially if you're not feeling well, if you're tired. So, and we've done it back and forth, so I can understand that. And I'll let you take the rest of the letter.
Okay, all right. Now, Jared, our producer, he was tripping on this. You got anything to say about this one, Jared?
All I'm going to say is that I truly love my lady.
Yes.
And I will leave it at that.
There you go. That's a
so
good.
I don't get in trouble, because I never know when she's listening.
That's a smart man. That's a smart man. Now, Nightstorm Nation, get this, and sir, we
thank you for your letter.
Yes, we appreciate your letter.
Thank you for listening and feeling the need to write, and we appreciate it.
Just like the Queen said, and we're going to keep that moving. Now, the dawn of the 21st century, Nightstorm Nation has birthed a lot of change in the world. Change, that's a good thing. And things that were considered taboo and unheard of 50 years ago, like in the case of our fine Nightstorm Nation listener who sent us that letter. Is the change from 50 years ago is out front for all of us to see. Now, our nation has elected a biracial president twice. Okay, gays can openly serve in the military with honors and get married in some states. Racial equality is getting stronger, and women have become the backbone of our economy and workforce, sweetheart.
That is true. That is true. But just because the winds are changing, that does not mean women do not have to keep fighting for everything they earn. Now, sadly, in a lot of cases, women are still stuck under that glass ceiling. According to Colleen O'Connor of the Denver Post in her article named Women Lag in Leadership Roles and CEO Earnings, she states that a national report released by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics found that women remain disadvantaged in terms of pay and promotion. In 2012, for example, women on average made 81% of the average earning of male workers.
Wow. Now, also, sweetheart, in 2013, 49%, get this, Nightstorm Nation, 49% of law school graduates were women, but only 15% of equity partners and only 5% of managing partners were women. Women's salaries in private law firms have decreased in recent years. Now, in technology, the average CEO salary for women in the top 10 companies is 25% less than the average male salary. And in the nonprofit sector, female CEOs, on average, earn 80% of what male CEOs make. So it's clear that there is still a disparity for ladies in the workplace, but that has not stopped some sisters from doing it for themselves,
That's
baby.
right. That's right. You know, the perfect example was the song we led in on, Beyonce's song. She proved why girls run the world, and this is very true. Now, she surprised even her most famous fans when she dropped her self-titled visual album on iTunes on Friday, December the 13th. Demi Lovato, Ryan Phillippe, and Emma Roberts were just three of the many stars who lost their minds when B unveiled 14 new songs and 17 new music videos. And I was like, oh, my goodness.
Yes. I was there when she did that, and you was like,
oh my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Now, another thing I want to talk about Demi Lovato, because one of the first to tweet of her excitement was her, and she was like, I'm literally freaking out over this new Beyonce music vids. I can't handle this much fireness. Hashtag no joke. Hashtag dying. And she also said, Beyonce is the sexiest woman on the planet. And who directed these videos? Hashtag obsessed. Hashtag Beyonce. Hashtag I might be obsessed with her. Hashtag I want to be her. And she just kept on going.
Look, you know what I'm saying? I think we all got some Beyonce in us. I see myself getting down with the get down.
Now, let me ask you this question. How you think our Nightstorm Nation listener who wrote us that letter, how you think he feel about, Beyonce running the world and all this stuff changing? Because he said he was a part of the greatest generation, for which from World War II, things were different back then. But now he's seeing chicks walking around with pants on, chicks running companies, chicks are multimillionaires, chicks are doing things, and even women are telling men what to do, like in your case with me.
I'm sure it's a culture shock. That's all I have to say. I can understand. I'm going to respect the fact and look at it from his point of view and the time that he was raised in and what was considered normal. And I'm sure he's seen a lot of changing, and it's a culture shock for him. And we're going to move it on to our next letter.
She just don't want to talk about this guy. I don't blame you, baby. Keep on going.
All right. So now Beyonce is doing her thing, but so are a lot of ladies out here. Now, contrary to old, outdated, popular opinions, there are tons of incredible ladies who are visionaries, entrepreneurs, and decision makers in their respective fields.
Yes.
Crushing the glass ceiling and helping women realize their full potential is prevalent.
Yeah.
But millions of women are succumbing to negative societal pressures that are designed to hold them back.
I wonder what kind of societal pressures they've been put under those negative things. Maybe.
There's plenty of things that are doing such things, and we're going to move on to this letter.
You just don't want to talk about this guy.
No, because you keep trying to bait me, and you think, I may be young, but I'm not foolish, in the words of Janet Jackson.
I'm trying to be slick with it.
Yeah, huh?
I'm trying to have you go off of him like you go off on me when I mess up.
You know what? I can see through all your Maybelline.
Okay, baby.
So we're going to move on to the next letter. This says, Dear Night Storms, all of my life I have been told no. No, you can't play outside with your brothers. No, you can't be the kicker on a high school football team. No, you can't run a successful business because you're not qualified. I've been told that I don't have the stones to make the tough decisions. Well, I'm happy to say that I ignored everybody telling me no. You go, girl. Mm-hmm. All of my life, and I believed in myself. Yes, I did sneak outside and wrestle with my brothers in the mud. Mm-hmm. Yes, I did become the first girl to play on the boys' varsity football team as the kicker. And yes, I run my own business for several years now. Mm-hmm. I have no regrets, and my stones are just as big as any man's.
I'm so happy that she said that. Mm-hmm. Okay, because it harkens back to the first letter when old boy was talking all his nonsense, and he said the world was different back in my day, and now we got a young lady who is kicking on the high school football team, running her own business. It doesn't matter what other folks' opinions are.
That's the point.
Now follow me on this one, sweetheart. Before you choke me, follow this one now. She is strictly sounds like a young lady who has been put down. Mm-hmm. And she might have been put down by folks in her family, people from a different generation.
Right.
Or folks just around her peers said, you can't do this because you're a female. You can't do it. You ain't got the stones. But check her out. She said, oh, yeah, I got them. And I'm handling my business. Now, we're going to move on because I know.
No, because I was just about to say that people don't realize that there are motivators in trying to tear people down.
So the dude from the first letter was actually motivating to other folks who say, I ain't got to bring you your slippers and some tea. How about we make some tea together and we get this house together and we grow our business together and we build an empire together. It ain't all just on you, my king, but I'm your queen and we gonna do this together because this is 2014, doggone it. I wonder who said that.
I wonder who did that.
I don't know, but we're going to keep on moving. All right, we're going to talk about some powerful women CEOs, so in case y'all didn't know. Now, according to the 2013 State of Women-Owned Business Report done by American Express, the card you can't leave home without, the number of businesses owned by women in the United States has increased 59% since 1997. Now, check this out, baby. These companies are generating more than, get this, $1.3 trillion in revenue and employing nearly 7.8 million people nationwide. Wow.
So that line from Beyonce's songs that says, my persuasion can build a nation.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm on board.
Now, California leads the nation with an estimated 1.1 million businesses owned by women, employing 983,000 people and generating about $198 million in sales for the Golden State.
Wait a minute, how much again?
100 million.
198 million.
I know that. I'm waiting on you.
Okay, I ain't trying to correct you, my queen. 198 million?
The state with the fastest growth of women-owned businesses are Georgia, Texas, North Carolina, Louisiana, and Nevada. Alaska, West Virginia, Iowa, Ohio, and Kansas had the slowest growth, but are showing some signs of improvement.
Yeah, that's good. And Night Storm Nation, I am messing with my wife because, see, when we at home, she can beat me up with no witnesses.
He gets an hour to act the food.
Okay.
Well, I can't get
She can't do that. We got Jared, the producer, looking, and we got all these millions of witnesses listening. But anyway, we're going to keep it going. Now, a young lady named Jada A. Graves of USnews.com wrote a wonderful article named 7 Female CEOs You Need to Know. And Night Storm Nation, I want you to really, really listen to this, and especially to the sisters out here trying to get it done. You need to know who Marissa Mayer is, Marissa Mayer. She's the CEO of Yahoo. Now, let me tell you a little bit about her. Upon becoming Google's 20th hire in 1999, right before the dot-com boom was hitting, Marissa Mayer also became the company's first female engineer. Now, during her stint with the corporation, she has had influence over the look and function of some of its best-known products, such as Google Maps, which everybody uses for GPS, and also Google Earth. Now, but Mayer probably made the most headlines of her career when she joined Yahoo and became the company's youngest CEO at the tender age of only 37. And what's even more interesting, Nightstorm Nation, Mayer was pregnant at the time and announced her intention to return to work shortly after giving birth. So it kind of takes away when a lot of, I hate to say, a lot of fellas say, well, you can't be a good CEO because you're going to need some time to have that baby. And, on a man, we ain't got to deal with all that kind of stuff. We can be here. Marissa said, I'm going to have my child. I'm going to have my family, and I'm going to be back at work, and we going to keep it moving.
What did B say? Make the babies and get back to business.
That's
so,
right.
Hey, there you go.
That's right. Okay, now one more thing I do want to touch on about this young lady who started her business, because unfortunately there are a lot of negative influences that are keeping women from doing their thing. Now, we got 3 daughters.
Yes, we do.
Okay, we got 2 adult daughters and 1 13-year-old.
Who thinks she grown?
She thinks she grown, but the queen put the princess in her place, and when that don't work, the king handle his business. But it's rare when the queen's technique don't work. But I'll tell you this, but we, along with our sons, we encourage our daughters to not be limited by anything.
Exactly.
And we want to make sure to all of the Nightstorm Nation listeners out there, it don't matter what somebody telling you, sister. Somebody done told you you can't do something and you ain't this and you ain't that because you're not a man. Look, I'm a man and I'm not bashing brothers. I'm not bashing men today. But I, as a man who have raised 3 daughters along with 4 sons, and I love my wife, I'm here to tell you.
You're still raising.
Still raising. I'm here to tell you to go for it. Don't let anybody put you down. And just like all women aren't the same, all men aren't the same, but it really don't matter who's saying whatever. You go after your dream and you build your success and you build your empire regardless of what people tell you. And that can go for anybody, male or female. But just today, we focusing on a lot of young ladies who have been put down, and not only just by the men in their lives, they've been put down by some of the women in their lives too.
Yes, definitely. And we definitely want to make the point that this is not a male bashing show. We love you guys. We understand your position, but we want to get ours in the right state of mind also, and let the females know that sister to sister, just like I'm sitting here, you can be sitting wherever you visualize yourself sitting also and run your part of the world.
Because, Beyonce ain't by herself. So you do your thing. And when we come back from the break, we going to dive deeper into this topic on Nightstorm Radio here on Love 860 AM, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station. See you on the other side of the break. You ever been so depressed to where you want to hurt yourself because life has been unkind, unfair, and unforgivable? Folks done hurt you and thrown you away? Yeah, I know, because I was there too, until I read this book by NYGHTSTORM called All Action No Talk. This dude has been there, man. He understands us. He was homeless, abused as a child, abandoned by his dad, and even his oldest son passed away. I'm encouraged because if this dude can make it, so can I, and so can you. So check it out at nightstorm.com, NYGHTSTORM, and know that you have the strength to change your life despite adversity, like him, like me, like you. Hey, you. Guy or gal that's listening, are you enjoying the night storms? Good! If you want the 411 on me, YG Night Storm,
And me, Toby George Nightstorm, a.k.a. Lady Nightstorm. Visit nightstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. Check out our informative blogs, videos, and see what Nightstorm Nation is doing to benefit the community. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
Thanks again for listening to the Night Storms on NYGHTSTORM Radio every Thursday at 11 a.m. to noon on Love 860 a.m. Atlanta's inspirational station. We are you.
Hi everyone, it's me, Lady Nightstorm, and have I got news for you. Want to know how to keep up with us and what we're doing in the community? It's easy. Just like us on Facebook at NYGHTSTORM Radio. Follow us on Twitter at NYGHTSTORM Radio and become part of the NYGHTSTORM Nation mailing list at nightstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM. Keep up with all our promotions, contests, and latest happenings. NYGHTSTORM Radio. We are you.
You are now rocking with the Night Storms on Atlanta's inspirational station, Love 860 AM WAEC. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to NYGHTSTORM Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook at NYGHTSTORM Radio and on Twitter at NYGHTSTORM Radio. Stay informed and join the NYGHTSTORM Nation at nightstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.
Yeah, now it's time to introduce our guest. Cue that music, please. Yeah! We playing 5-star chick because our guest is a 5-star chick. Our distinguished guest today is a former sales executive and is currently the producer of Launch Over 40 TV. She shines by helping women 40 plus who own their own businesses receive much needed resources to highlight and promote themselves in social media. This savvy business executive is very dedicated to community, and her motto is every woman deserves to be successful and live an incredible life. So ladies and gentlemen of NYGHTSTORM Nation, it is my honor, privilege, and pleasure to introduce to you the one, the only, Yolanda Kennedy. Yeah!
Hi.
Hello. How are you, Yolanda?
Just great. How are you guys? You got me over here with a big old smile.
How you doing, ma'am?
Oh, I'm doing great. And I would like to respond to your wife Toby's response before the commercial went, because I'm glad that you said this is not a male bashing session. Mm-hmm. I always like to let people know that even though I'm very proactive, encouraging women to be successful, I am happily married. My husband and I have been together since I was 19 years old, and I have 2 sons. Oh. So I just live in testosterone.
There you go, Yolanda. Okay. All right, sweetheart. What we got for Miss Yolanda right now?
Now, we realize we read your motto, and we want to know, why is your motto so important to women who have been discouraged?
Well, but before I started Launch Over 40, my background was really in sales, and it doesn't say, but I was in real estate and mortgages, and you're helping people make their biggest purchase of their life. And I met a lot of couples and a lot of women that was part of those couples, or even some single women that just didn't have any idea of their financial house, but yet they was trying to make such a huge purchase and really a 30-year commitment, but they didn't have a 1-year plan. And after years of about 13 years I spent in that industry, I realized that, unfortunately, as advanced as things are getting, we are still a step behind.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And we can be successful, but our success may not look like a man's success. The truth of the matter is that, a lot of times if you have children, and you guys have started, talking about that, or even if we have aging parents, we're still considered the caregivers. We're still the ones that a lot of times have to take a step back or put some things on hold in order to take care of the children or even our aging parents. And because of that, our track may not look like a man, but it doesn't mean that it has to be less. then, or it's not as important to understand who you are and be successful, and you can enjoy your life. You don't have to put on hold till you're 65 or 70 and you retire, then you're going to start living. We need to start living today.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm happy you said that. And, you know, when you talk about being the caregivers and honestly taking upon all of that adversity, you know, everybody who's been doing business has a story or something that kind of pushed them. So, ma'am, I want to ask you this. I know you're married and you're happy with your husband and your sons, but what pushed you to start your own business, ma'am?
You know, I have to be honest. I'm one of those anomalies. I went in my own business since I was a 12-year-old little girl.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to work for myself because I always felt like that was the best way to handle things as far as knowing how I wanted to live. And that's one question I always put to my people that I work with, my community. How do you want to live? Not what house you want, not what car you want. How do you want to live? And once you figure out how you want to live, then you start gravitating towards things that help you accomplish that.
That is true. That is so true. And, you know, going back to your first response with the women who are purchasing homes and don't have a plan, you know, I have a background in medical field also, and you have so many older women who, once their husband passed away, they had absolutely no idea what was going on. They didn't know where he kept the checkbook, how much money was in the bank, what's going on with the life insurance policies, any of these things like that. So what do you think is the biggest challenge for today's women over 40?
The reason we started Launch Over 40 was because the biggest challenge for women over 40 that I was seeing was because we've had a 20-year career in, let's say, HR or medical field, and then because of the recession, people's lives have changed. Mm-hmm. And then what happened was we become stuck. We don't see ourselves as people who can take those skills and step out there and is worthy and can add value and can charge for it. You know, a lot of times I've met women in my area that made 70, 80, 90,000 rand departments with VPs, and now they're making 20, 30,000 a year, mm-hmm. and they're kind of grateful because they just don't. And what's holding them back is the fear of saying, you know, I am worthy and I expect to make good money and I'm worth it and I could bring value. We don't value ourselves because of what you had said earlier is a lot of times is what other people have told us. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So now, even if you're in a position that you do need to pay those bills, you know, because your bills was based on that $70,000 income and now you're making 30, you still don't have the courage and the know-how to move forward. And that's where we come in because a lot of times when you start something new, that's the hardest thing, just to get started. You don't know where to start. You don't know who to talk to. You don't know, mm-hmm. It's like, I know what I want to do, but I don't know how to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's why the Queen and I, ma'am, came up with some top excuses of why women over 40 will not start a business. So we're going to get your expertise on this. You ready, Yolanda?
I'm ready.
Okay, now, one of the top excuses why women over 40 will not start a business is, I have a little money for retirement, and I'm afraid to risk it on starting something new. What you got to say about that one, ma'am?
I would say that is so true because they don't believe that they can bring value. A lot of times women are grateful to be in the position they are. And we hear numbers like the numbers you guys were talking about with the American Express businesses in California. And that's great. But believe it or not, even though more and more women are starting more businesses, only about 68% is generating $25,000 a year or less. Mm-hmm. And that's because we don't like to have that conversation. A lot of women are being brought up and have been brought up to be ladylike, not to outshine the next person, not to make people feel uncomfortable. And what that means is we don't feel comfortable even having a money talk. Mm. When I was talking to women about their finances to buy a house, that's the next, logical step. They almost cringe. You could see where it's like, well, I don't deal with that. How can you not deal with that? We all have to live somewhere. We all have to eat. We all have to, mm-hmm. it's something you really can't avoid. But a lot of us don't feel comfortable having that money talk.
That's true.
And that translates into now that you're in a business, we price ourselves way too low for the services that we offer.
That is so true. And so that brings us to our next excuse of, I can't run a business and a household at the same time. That's too much stress.
Okay, I hate to go biblical.
Please go biblical, please.
I hate to go biblical. But my response to that has to be look at Proverbs 31. Proverbs 31, woman ran her house. Then after her husband and her kids left, she sold scarves in the city. She took that money and she invested in land. And what people don't understand, because they never get to the end, because she was a woman who could understand how to handle her household and her business, her husband was called blessed at the city gates.
Yes, he was.
To that man that had the letter about us just being able to cook and clean and whatever that issue was.
Yeah.
To read Proverbs 31.
See, I'll let you go ahead and address that. I just I read it and walked away.
Wait, hold on.
You can have that one.
Hold on, Yolanda. Hold on, my queen. See, Yolanda brought up a very good thing here, because there are people out there that need to be educated, because they have been taught in that old traditional way of thinking for so long, and that's been the way of life. And so how Yolanda just so eloquently brought up, she went biblical. And even the most staunch conservative who believes in God, he gonna say, look, okay, that's the truth, and ain't nothing wrong with the truth. So let me ask you this one, Yolanda. Here's another one of a top excuse of why women over 40 will not start a business. Here we go. I'm divorced and over 40. Who would give me a chance?
Well, you know what the funny thing about that is, I think because we hear such these online internet success stories, what they don't hear is that this person struggled for 2 or 3 years before they got to that point. And I always tell anyone, if you have a job, we're not saying leave it. Because any business, online, offline, a business has a cycle like anything else. And I hate to tell you, and I know people's going to run when I say this, it takes work. That four-letter word, I don't care what you're doing. It takes work and it takes time. And anyone who's telling you that it doesn't is lying. So I will advise you to start small. I mean, right on my website, we have an article that tells you how to test out our business idea for free. It takes a couple of minutes. We tell you how to do it, where to go, and test out your ideas before you jump in. Because every good idea is not a business idea.
That is absolutely true. We're going to throw another one at you. You're doing good. You're batting 1,000.
Yeah, man. She's knocking home runs.
Every time we throw something at her, she's like, I got something for that. Pull out the Bible. There you go. Gotcha.
Yeah.
How about this one? My husband is climbing the corporate ladder, and someone has to stay home.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Hold on, Yolanda. See, somebody got to stay home and have the slippers and make the tea.
Well, let me tell you right now, I was a full-time home mom for the first 10 years of my life. My husband worked an hour plus away. Where we lived was kind of rural. There wasn't a lot of jobs in the area, which meant I would have had to commute at least another hour, and I refused to do it. So what happened was, and when I say rural, at the end of our block was an Amish farm. That's where we used to live.
Wow.
So it was rural. My closest Applebee's was 30 minutes.
What?
But what I did was I jumped online, and I always wanted to work for myself. And as my kids became older, I went into real estate first. And my 8-year-old son, who's now in his 20s, him and I, before, because there was no GPSs, we got a paper map.
I remember those. I remember those.
That you get from Wawa.
And can never fold them back the way that you unfolded them in the first place, and you just threw it over in the
hold on, ladies. Hold on, ladies, because, see, I remember when maps were obsolete, because as a dude, we don't need no doggone maps. If we lost, we meant to do it. We just taking the scenic route. That's right.
That is why women can be more successful, because we got a map.
Look, exactly. And Yolanda, that isn't why you were living out in the rural area. Is it because he couldn't find a map?
This is when I was in the rural area, I became a real estate agent. And my 8-year-old son, after school, him and I, before I had clients, I give him the map. He was my map holder. And we would drive to make sure I knew what each house was before I met my clients. And the truth of the matter is, that area was so rural, we had written posts with the name cards in for the streets.
I have
so
seen
when the sun
those.
went down, if you didn't know where you was at, you better just sleep in your car that night, because you wasn't finding your way back home.
Wait a minute, hold on, because I'm visualizing all this. Did you have street lights?
No.
No.
It was just dark out there.
And
My
scary.
family made sure they left before the sun go down so they could find the main road.
Wow.
You know, see,
I loved it, though.
See,
We was right next to Hers Potato Chips in PA, and I loved it.
see, that's exceptional skill, and I got to give you props on that because see, you know, in today's world in 2014, if the GPS go out, you don't know what you're doing. But you chilling in the rural area, and it's dark, no street lights, no GPS, a paper map, and you and your son handling business. So it shows the power that you have and the drive and the determination to make it even in the darkest of times.
Yeah, there was no smartphones back then.
Oh, my
But what I'm
goodness.
saying is that
No
even
Siri?
if your husband's in a position where he's away, he's he's a distance, and I do agree that someone has to be available for the kids. These are people; these are not pets. Yes, someone has to be available, but that doesn't mean that you can't generate income and still be available.
Okay.
You just might have to be creative with it.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, and do this really, really quickly because we're coming up on a break. But a lot of folks have said, especially women, have said, I have no idea how to form an LLC.
Okay, ladies, I'm going to tell you this real quick before the commercial break. An LLC does not constitute a business. My whole thing is you have to have something to sell. A lot of people form the LLC, have the business cards, they have the little, suit to go networking, and they have nothing to sell. Mm-hmm. They have no real value to show the other person. They go out and they hope that you buy from them because they look nice and they're friendly and you should like them. So having an LLC does not mean you have a business.
Well, we have one more minute. I just want to ask one thing. You have a women community on your thing. How do people join that and start businesses? And we're going to get into that more. I just wanted to put that in there so it can be in the back of your mind. And
they can go right to launchover40.com, and it's a free account. It doesn't cost them anything to sign up and create an account.
Okay, cool. Well, we're going to get more into detail with that.
Okay, now, all right, since we only got a few seconds left on this segment, okay, we're going to ask you a real personal question here. You ready, Yolanda?
I'm ready.
Okay, when you told your honey, your sweetie pie, your husband, that, baby, I'm going to rise up and I'm going to help out with this household and we going to build this empire together, what did your husband say?
My husband is actually my biggest cheerleader.
Yep, there it is.
Because even with Launch Over 40, I don't think he quite knows what I do, but he knows I'm doing it.
Now look.
See, I wanted to get that right there because women need to hear from us, their husbands, and be supportive. Because I'm going to tell you this, Yolanda, when the queen say, baby, I want to do this, I go, okay.
And it sounds like you and my husband had a conversation.
Well, I tell you this, the secret to staying married as long as we've been together 14 years. And, I learned that I'm not going to win every single argument. And it's not even important to win the argument. It's important to show support for your spouse. And when the spouses are showing support for each other in all things, then the marriage has absolutely no choice but to grow. So when the queen says, and that's why I call her the queen all the time, when she says, baby, I really need this and I want to do it, then I see it as my personal responsibility to make it happen. And vice versa when I, ask her to do stuff because I'm only right 10% of the time, Yolanda.
And that's what he lets you think.
Mm-hmm. And he milks his 10% too.
Oh, I'm sure he does. I hear him. I listened to you guys' show last week.
Ah.
So
you see how he act the fool for this hour.
That's why all I could do is smile.
But see, I know what side my bread is buttered on because, see, if you flip the bread over, it's crusty and it don't taste good. But that side with the butter that's on it is real smooth and flavorful. That's where everything needs to be. So we finna take us a quick little break, and we gonna let my queen do her thing. Yolanda finna amp up, and we finna get deep into this. So we are here on Night Storm Radio, Love 860 AM Atlanta's I can't even talk right. Inspirational talk radio station.
What are we entering into?
I don't know, baby.
Night Storm Nation. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. To all event planners, are you worried that your next corporate get-together is going to be boring.
Then invite the Night Storms to speak at your next event and electrify your organization as we break down how to grow your business, fix broken relationships, and conquer life challenges.
So make your next event epic. Invite me and the Queen to rock the house with inspirational techniques designed to empower individuals and maximize their true potential.
And thanks for listening to Night Storm Radio on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational station.
We are you.
This is Toby George Nightstorm, a.k.a. Lady Nightstorm, and I'm known as the woman not afraid to tell the truth about how things really are. And the truth I have to say to you is you should listen to Nightstorm Radio every Thursday from 11 to noon. And you should also like us on Facebook at Nightstorm Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Nightstorm Radio. And join the Nightstorm Nation mailing list on nightstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. Nightstorm Radio on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station. We are you.
This is YG Nightstorm. And why should you listen to Nightstorm Radio? Because we relate to you or someone you know with topics taken directly from our lives. Every time you tune in, you'll hear a discussion about real subjects that affect real life. Why? Because me and the Queen have been there. So join us right here every Thursday morning from 11 to noon on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station. Nightstorm Radio. We are you.
Hello, Nightstorm Nation. This is Toby George Nightstorm, a.k.a. Lady Nightstorm, and I have a question for you. How much are you spending each day on lunch? $6, $7, $10 even? Do you know that for less than what you spend each week on lunch, you can advertise your business or service right here during the show on Nightstorm Radio? Why don't you inbox us on Facebook, send us a message on Twitter, or drop us a line at nightstorm.com. Let us show you how you can get your business or service out in front of the people. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Nightstorm Radio, and we are having an incredible discussion with Yolanda Kennedy. But first, we want you to like us on Facebook. Hit us up on Twitter at Nightstorm Radio, NYGHTSTORM Radio. Stay informed and join the Nightstorm Nation at Nightstorm.com. Now, we done talked about all of the challenges that women over 40 are doing. And we have the incredible Yolanda Kennedy on. So, ma'am, let's get more deep into LaunchOver40.com and LaunchOver40 TV.
Okay, well, LaunchOver40.com really was my way of creating a platform for women 40 and older to come together to ask the difficult questions and have a safe haven. Mm-hmm. You know, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, they're great platforms, but they're kind of public. So as a free account, you can kind of come in and you can ask questions, and it won't be seen by anyone who just comes on the site. You know, this is a difficult time in most people's lives. You know, you're in your 40s, you're in your 50s, you're in your 60s, and things are changing. You know, Social Security is going to be gone. Forget that. That's not an option. You don't have pensions anymore. Then you have these 401ks, and the 401ks, they're not really built for long-term savings. Your money is just as volatile as any other money, which doesn't make sense. So this is supposed to be money that's supposed to be there for you 20, 30, 40 years later. Mm-hmm. So at this point, it's almost not an option of if you would like to. You need to generate some kind of income that you know is coming in, and you're not trading your time for it. The reason that's important is because sometimes as you get older, things change physically, mentally, and you want to make sure that you have money that's always moving. I always say that because we have a plan based on what banks have taught us. You know, you have schools that banks go into, they train the kids start to count. These are the same people that have something to sell you. Mm-hmm. So we learned to take our money and then put it in the corner and let it sit there. But banks don't do that with your money. Your money goes in, they turn around, invest it, and they give you a piece. Look at the wealthy millionaires, billionaires. Their money is never sitting. They're always sending their money out to bring more money with it. We need to stop listening to what they're saying and start looking at what they're doing. And one way to do that is to generate income yourself.
Okay. And do you get into that on Lunch Over 40 TV and Lunch Over 40 Radio?
That's the whole purpose of the platform and even our show. It's not going to be, how can I put it? We don't fluff. There's no fluffing. There's no softness. There's very direct information.
Right.
We're about action.
There you go.
If you want to come and you want to talk about some issues, we can help you. But after the first day, it's time to start moving. A lot of our, how can I say it? We had a show yesterday with a woman from Australia. That's another thing that I want to do is we're pushing more global, not just in the United States. Because I think it's important for women to understand this is not a USA issue. It's a women around the world issue. It's time for us to start supporting each other and promoting each other.
Yes.
I hate to say it, but any group that's waiting on another group to help you get to where you're going, you're not budging.
No, it's not going to happen. And, when you talk about the global initiative that Launch Over 40 Plus has, I took the time to research some stuff on your website, ma'am. And I want to tell you that I found something very interesting, especially when you talk about that it's just not a problem in the United States, that this is global. And I saw a blog that you had featured, and you guys were talking about Miss Hazel Palash.
Yes.
Okay, and in the name of the blog, Nightstorm Nation, is called If You Gave Your Life a Genre, What Would It Be? Now, let me tell y'all about this. Now, Hazel is 72 years old and is a certified master clinical hypnotherapist, and she talks about overcoming negative thinking and stress. And let me quote what Miss Palash was saying, ma'am, because I know you know all about this, but I want the Nightstorm Nation to hear it. She says, growing up in the UK and coming from a very abusive family, I would say that in order to become the person I am today, my life didn't start until I was 40 years old, and the years before that could definitely be called a chaotic, tragic drama genre that slowly unfolded. And now she continues. Now listen to this. When all you learn in your younger years is from negative role modeling, you tend to take this thinking with you until hopefully you learn that it no longer works and you choose to change the way you think, which is what I did. And I found that phenomenal, ma'am. So can you just talk a little bit about, because she's 72 years old, these is one of your amazing blogs on outreach globally. So what do you think about that when you got folks 72 and plus, coming to your site telling you their story?
Well, I love Hazel. She actually is going to do a podcast with us next week. And the point is that when Hazel and I was talking, to me, she's an amazing woman. But I think that's what we need to see. We're not seeing enough of women 40 and older creating a new life for themselves. We're seeing the celebrities, but they're the exceptions. We need to see everyday women who are making choices to live a full life at every age. Especially in America, we don't value our senior citizens. We don't value older people. But the truth of the matter is, that's nice if they do. If they don't, who cares? Because you should value yourself in order to live. My mom passed at 59 years old from breast cancer. Healthy woman, no family history. There was no reason for her not to be here. But the sad thing about my mother was she was holding on and waiting to start her life. And that is what I'm trying to prevent other women of seeing. It's like, guys, let me tell you, men are founders. They find things. That's good. But you know what? God created us to be creators. We create.
That is absolutely true.
Wait a minute. That was phenomenal.
And that was phenomenal. And you know what else was phenomenal?
What?
That you did not use your British accent in reading that quote from Hazel.
Well, see, I did that last week.
Yeah, I was really hoping. I was sitting here bracing.
Growing up in the UK, coming from a very
that was not a call to action for you, okay? But what is our Night Storm tip, and it's coming from All Action No Talk, Chapter 10, and it's the true meaning of success.
Whose book is that?
What?
Whose book is
Do we
that?
have to say this? Whose book is what?
Oh, Action No Talk. Whose book is
This
that?
is coming from NYGHTSTORM
Oh, my book.
who, being whispered in the ear by the creative force in the background. Who
By
would
the queen.
Be? Who would be?
The queen.
The creator?
The queen.
Thank you.
The queen.
Yes.
Yes.
We're going to rub each other back on this. But at any rate,
Yes.
the tip for today, we're coming out of chapter 10, and that is the true meaning of success in that chapter. And we're going to talk about Miss Jane Addams.
Yes.
Okay, now, Miss Addams was part of a generation which probably came from the letter at the top of our show.
From that distinguished gentleman who wrote that letter.
We're going to go back to that generation. We're going to ask the question, is it so hard to believe that a woman in the early 20th century could fight for decades for the rights of women, underprivileged minorities, and blacks, and became a charter member of the NAACP, or even become the first American woman to receive the Nobel Peace Prize? Jane did it, and she is an excellent example of a person dealing with extreme adversity and achieving incredible results that have directly benefited millions of people in this country and has changed the world for many generations to come.
Yeah, and just like how Yolanda was saying, how you have to take action, and how the young lady, and I'm gonna call her young, I know she only 72, but how Hazel took action also. Jane was a brave woman who faced extreme criticism, threats, and character assassination during a shameful time in our American history, ladies and gentlemen, and her actions are the very definition of the word strength to me. So Jane Addams is very, very strong, and women like Hazel, who doing their thing and changing despite what folks say, like the dude earlier, and Yolanda Kennedy coming on and talking about these wonderful things with her website. So, and you got anything coming up, real soon, ma'am, that you want to tell the Nightstorm Nation listeners before we let you go?
Well, if they go to launchover40.com, they can become free members, and we actually have a CPA that's going to be doing a podcast with us next week, and she's going to be really dealing with taxes and some things that's going on with the government changing some rules and regulations. So even if someone may not have a business, but they're thinking about it, or even if for personal taxes and you do your own taxes, you really do want to tune into that because there's a lot of changes coming down the pike. Also, we're going to have Hazel on, the young lady you were just discussing. She's going to be really talking about some changes that she had to make and some things that she went through and how she got to this point. And we also have the young lady from Australia who is the creator of Financially Fabulous. And she's going to be really dealing with women and money.
Cool.
So that's just next week, the 3 shows that we're going to be doing.
And that's just next week, y'all. Okay, yeah. So now, Yolanda, this portion of the show is called the Love Shoutouts. And in this portion of, we like to get to the Nightstorm Nation's letters, sending their love and everything to each other. And, ma'am, we want you to participate in this, okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, first, I want to say Josh sends love to his wife, Amanda, after giving birth to their first child. That's what's up, Josh.
And Sarita and Jamie are celebrating their 3rd anniversary today, and she loves him very much.
Yeah, and Colin, Nightstorm Nation, wants his wife, Melissa, to know that he loves her with everything.
And Josephine says that she has the biggest crush on her awesome husband, Nelson.
Now, Nightstorm Nation, I'd be remiss if because, we got this music playing. This nice, soft music playing.
Here we go.
And I'm going to say something to my queen that every man needs to say, and I'm sure Yolanda's husband tell her every single day. That, baby, I love you, in my deep voice. I appreciate you. You my queen, and I value you so much. And I honestly thank God for you being in my life, because you are living proof that my Heavenly Father loves me more than his other kids.
Wow. Oh, my goodness gracious. Woo, I can't top that. But Nightstorm Nation, you know why we got 7 children, huh? Alrighty then. Okay, we're a blended family. I ain't gonna get too happy with that. But I want to say I love you too.
Yes.
And you are a phenomenal king. And you are such a great leader of this family.
Yes.
And I wouldn't trade you for a rock.
A rock? A rock. Okay, all right. Now, Yolanda, do you have anything, any love shout-outs you want to send to anybody special, ma'am?
I'm going to send one to my husband. We've been together for 25 years, and he has always been my rock throughout my life, throughout so many things I can't imagine even going through without him right there.
That's what's up. See, you know, and she didn't say nothing about no stones.
I said I wouldn't trade you for her. You know, back in the day, you know, our parents be like, man, I'd kill a rock and put a brick in the hospital.
Yes, they did.
You know that? I don't know, this
did.
might be a Southern thing, but I wouldn't trade you for the world. I love you.
Okay, I appreciate that too. Now, I want you to, see, you got me so tongue-tied, I can't even talk right now. That's when you know it's real, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why we do these shout-outs, because we're going through so much stuff in this world today, and Yolanda can attest to that, and so can the Queen. But, folks, get yourselves together and do your thing. So, any last little words, ma'am, before we run out of here, because we're running out of time?
Just connect with us through launchover40.com. Hit us on Twitter and Facebook. And truthfully, even if you don't go any further, connect with women who can help you be like-minded and give you support and encouragement that you need, because you deserve to live the best life.
Beautiful.
Exactly. And remember to hit us up also on Night Storm Radio on Facebook and on Twitter at Night Storm Radio. And join Night Storm Nation on nightstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM. And YG, is there anything else?
It's time to stand up, Night Storm Nation, and remember, you have the strength to change your life despite adversity. We understand your issues because, quite frankly, we are you. And it's so much, like I said earlier, that folks are dealing with. And I'm so happy Yolanda was on today, and she talked about going through the literal darkness of being in the backwoods of the country. And,
with the map.
Without the map. And that's symbolic to me, because we go through life sometimes. We don't have GPS.
That's
okay.
Right.
And it's dark out there, and we might feel that we don't have assistance. But I want to tell you this. That is why we have the ultimate illuminator. Call on God when you're dealing with these harsh things in your life, when you are surrounded by darkness. And God will provide that illumination for you. And then you can go and tell your husband, sweetheart, I know you know where you're going, but this is what the map says.
We'll have a Dora moment. Don't you just see Dora? Don't you just see Dora? I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map.
I just had to throw that in there, guys. But Yolanda, thank you so much, ma'am. Everybody hit her up and we'll into your show. And what we got going on next, sweetheart?
Well, we're going to be speaking to more people. Let's talk about more things that's going to keep us going and keep you inspired, as we always do here at Night Storm Nation. And if you want to know what we're doing, you're going to have to hit us up on Twitter.
Yeah.
And Facebook.
Yeah.
And join our mailing list.
Yeah.
And you'll know exactly who we're talking to next week.
Exactly. So where they need to go to do that?
Nightstorm.com. NYGHTSTORM.com.
And why do we understand people and their issues, baby?
Because we are you.
Yeah, so we appreciate it. Thank you, Night Storm Nation. We will see you next Thursday at 11 a.m. right here on Love 860 a.m. Atlanta's inspirational.
He got it right.
Talk radio station. I got it right. Jared looking at me like, yeah, get it right this time, brother. I got it. That's the producer. We'll see you. Love you guys. God bless.